Like, is that a phrase that you've heard that's common? What do you? Okay, so what image comes to mind when you think of strong Black woman? What do you think of the phrase? Is it a positive or a negative phrase?
I think of celebrities who are doing good things in the Black community.
Okay,
So
that's good.
I think of a strong Black woman as being very confident in everything that she does and doesn't let anything stop her, and she chases her dreams and what she wants to do in life and doesn't let anything stop her, like a man or whatever she's going through in life.
Yeah. So when can the phrase become, because it's for the most part it's a positive thing, right? But when can it become problematic?
So I think it could be problematic when like people decide not to help Black women because they think they're too strong. At the end of the day, Black women can be vulnerable. It doesn't just have to be, oh, they can handle this for themselves. So that's when I think it can be problematic.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I think sometimes strong Black women can also, people think it's synonymous with like the angry Black woman or like a man hater type of thing, and it's just like paints them in a negative light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jumping on top of that, there was a study done by Georgetown University Law Center. It was a study done that found that compared to white girls, people tend to think, 1, Black girls need less nurturing. 2, Black girls need to be supported less. 3, Black girls need to be comforted less. And 4, Black girls are more independent. So what do you think about that?
I feel like that goes off of stereotypes because like we're known to be strong based on like our history and like our ancestors, like we went through slavery and everything. So like everyone thinks that we're able to do things on our own and that we don't go through stuff, but we actually do. It's just that we have a good way of hiding it because that's how we were raised, to hide things. So when we come out as being sensitive or something, it seems like something's wrong with us.
Yeah, definitely going off of that, back in like the 1960s when segregation was going on, I feel like Caucasians, of course, like as you can see, they had more opportunities than we did, and they got more than we did, like the whites only and blacks only. What was going on then, and us African Americans, we had to deal with that and not really show any emotion towards it, which is where Martin Luther King came in, of course. But I think that that's where that came from. White people, they got more than we did, so we just are looked upon as we're supposed to take whatever we get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Going off of that, I mean, when we did like want something, we had to work for it. Mm-hmm. It like to white people, it was just passed to them. Mm-hmm. We had to work for what we had, especially like for women. Mm-hmm. So okay, it was white people got what they wanted, and then it was Black people, and then woman was last. So being a Black woman would just make everything harder. You have to work. And it just didn't come easy. So that makes everyone independent.
Yeah. One of the things I talk about in the chapter is sort of like the Disney damsels in distress. Mm-hmm. You know, I interviewed a few girls and they were like, you know, growing up, there was nobody to save me. There were no, you know, now we have Ariel, you know, new images of what that will look like. It's like Black women didn't have those images. And because of that, sort of we were concluded that, you know, we don't have anybody to save us, you know. So just curious what you think or what your experiences were growing up, you know, watching certain images on TV, not just cartoons.
Like going off like the Disney like theme, the only Black princess I know of is Tiana. Mm-hmm. And she was still struggling. It wasn't like, oh, I'm a damsel in distress. Like she kind of pushed away the prince. And that shows how like that's like angry Black woman to an extent. Because she didn't want to be bothered by a man. Like, she doesn't show that vulnerability as to the white girl in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I want my Prince Charming. Like, just never showed that.
Yeah. That's really interesting. That is a very interesting point. Because I did notice that about Tiana. Tiana wasn't like, she wasn't like this, but she was very like, I, you know, make my money and I do my thing. And I think that was good. Mm-hmm. But maybe in some ways, it was not so good.
Yeah. If you notice, Tiana was a lot more realistic. She had 2 jobs, and I mean, turning into a frog wasn't realistic. What went on with Cinderella? Yes, she was working. She wasn't working, but she was like a maid, and a fairy godmother came and turned her into a princess, and like all that wasn't realistic. But Tiana's, hers realistic. She worked 2 jobs, turned into a frog, how that happened. And then she met the prince, and like she was saying, she was angry black woman to an extent. She was like pushing him away and etc. And that towards the end of the movie, she got her restaurant, she got what she wanted. But I feel like Cinderella was more of like a fairy tale, like, oh, this is what happened, like this gets handed to us, and Tiana was realistic, it was like reality.
Yeah. Who do you go to when you feel like you need to be vulnerable, or when do you have opportunities to express your weakness? Do you feel like you have places and spaces? We'll start with Layla.
I think I go like more to my mom, I would say, because like I feel like I have like a stronger relationship with her. Cause like I feel like sometimes she's almost like a sister a little bit, like an older sister, but I feel like I can like relate to her more so, and like she can like uplift me when I'm like feeling down and stuff.
Definitely to connect off of Layla, I definitely agree with her about my mother being the person that would always be there for me when I'm vulnerable, because at the end of the day, I feel like we both dealt with like most of the same things growing up, and she can always bounce off of what I've done, and she'll always make it into a bigger picture and make it seem like it's okay to have your weak times in life and to build from that and to learn from those things as well.
Outside of family, does anybody have, are there spaces for you all to be weak?
No.
No.
I feel like I can't, well, not that I can't, but like there's not a lot of people that I can go to. I can go to my mom, but like I just feel like I can't be vulnerable at times because like I'm held to a really, really high standard. So it's just like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. People are watching you. Oh, I can't make a mistake. Well, if I do this, I'm going to be looked upon as, oh, a blessing's turning into something else. You start to act like how the teenagers are acting today. So I feel like I don't really have as many people as I should to go to. I tried Friends when I was younger, but of course Friends, they don't last very long. So I wouldn't do that. But family I can go to, but it's like some family members are like, oh, why don't you try doing this? You don't have to be perfect. But like they'd be like leading me in the wrong direction in a way, trying to like, oh, why don't you try to be a rebel for once or something like that. So I can't really listen to them. And then I know right from wrong, of course, but just like I feel like I can't be vulnerable at times.